Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to break down a chicken and I'm going to show you how I do it, which is just the way I have figured out to do it. It's not superficial, but it works really well for me. And then what I do with all the parts and what we're going to make with it. So let me get all of my supplies and my chicken out and we can get going. Here I have my chicken, I have my wings bag, I have my stock bag, and then I have containers for the parts of the chicken that I'm going to cook. So I have a container for my chicken breast and I have a container for my chicken thighs. The breast I'm going to cut up so that it's ready for how I want to cook it, and the legs, the thighs and the drumsticks I will keep whole, and they can go right in the fridge for later in the week. A sharp knife is best, but I've absolutely done this with a dull knife. It's just not as safe. So this chicken I've had thawing in my refrigerator. And this one I know has giblets inside. And these will all go into my stock bag. There's a lot of fat around the neck here. And that will be great in stock as well. So now that I have those out, I'm gonna turn it over. Here's the backbone, here's the tail. First, I'm gonna take off my wings. And then when I peel this back, here's the joint. I can go right in between that. And then just kind of cut around and use the weight of the chicken. On the other side. So there's this little spot where it pulls back. Cut the skin and start working in until you find the joint, which is white. And cut through there. So there's my wings. Oh, here's the heart. Love it when they come with all those parts. This is from a farm, so that's why it's more likely to have that. Okay, now back to the breast side. And when I pull the legs away, there's this gap in here, and I can cut that skin. I'm just cutting the skin right now. Kind of, once you get through the skin, this leg will pull away. There's not much attaching it, besides the joint, which is way down here. So there's more skin to cut away there. And I can really, once I get in here, I can bend this back, and that allows you to see where the joint is, right there. Now I come along behind and just go as low as I can, close to the backbone as I can, to get all of that meat to the leg. Now I know when I cook this, I'm going to want to have it separated into thigh and drumstick. On the back side here, on the bottom, I'm going to move this and really get a feel for where the joint is here. So I can feel that I'm on the joint, so I can cut right through. There it is. Sometimes you gotta look around. There it is, and then you'll go right through easily. Okay, so now there's our two pieces there. Here's the other side. So I'm going back to that spot that's just skin. I'm gonna cut through that. Keep cutting. And pulling. Opening that up until I find where that joint is. And there it is, it's poking up now. Okay, so there's our breast on there. Let's divide this into two. And I'll cut through. These I can start adding into my container, and what I'll do with these is salt them now, and then they'll have a chance to really absorb that salt as they sit in the refrigerator until I'm ready to cook them. Okay, so now breast. So there you can feel the bone that goes right down here, the breastbone. I'm gonna cut on either side of that. So first, really just need to cut through the skin. And then just start cutting down along the side. And I just kind of make shortcuts and peel it apart so I can get as much meat as possible. There is a little tendon right here that I'm going to cut around. And get all this meat. Now if there's any meat left, that's fine because we're going to make stock out of this carcass, so it will flavor the stock. And now we can pull this off. Okay, the other side. Just start working along that breastbone. Bit by bit. Here's that little tendon. A bit of skin there. Okay, and there's our second breast. Now these, since I'm going to use these in a cooked dish, I'm not going to use the skin. So I'm going to peel off the skin and put that in with my stock bag. All right, so cut those up, but meanwhile, let's also take care of our wings. So these open up and you have the little wing tip that will go into stock, and that is a pretty thin bone. You just have to go through it. And then same as the legs, I'm just going to look for the joint. Cut that apart, and now we have two wings. And we'll do that again over here. Okay, so I just washed my hands so I can handle my bags. So here's the legs. We're going to salt those in a minute. Here's my container. My container for my breast. Wings. The wings go in my wings bag. And I will put these back in the freezer. And we'll pull them out next time we have wings. Then I have my stock bag. It already has one carcass in it. Whenever there's time to salt meat ahead of time, oh, it really gets into the meat and gives so much flavor. There you have it. Now there's lots of chicken parts ready to cook, and I've saved those wings so they won't just go into stock or roasted in such a way that you really don't want to eat them, because some roasting chicken, those wings don't end up being the best. And I've got ingredients for my stock all put away and ready for me the next time I'm ready to use them. And here we are the next day. It's time to make dinner, and I love when the chicken is already cut up. So I'm always really glad when I've done this ahead of time. It makes making dinner feel very easy. So first I am getting these chicken pieces into the pan to sear, and they get a nice color on them. So I'll mix them around and get color on all sides. We are having chicken pad thai with these chicken breast pieces. And you can see in the back there, in front of the toaster oven, I have my rice noodles soaking in water. I soaked these for a couple hours, and this is the way I'm going to do it from now on. Instead of boiling water, I have the pot there ready, just in case it didn't work out and I had to cook them a little bit. I usually boil them, and then I, cook them stir fry them in the pan with all of the ingredients, and it always ends up overcooked and kind of mushy, especially the second day. This, just soaking it ahead of time for a couple hours, was perfect. They were bendable but still quite stiff, and they were able to cook in the sauce and absorb a lot of that sauce without becoming overcooked. It was really the way to do it. So after my chicken is done, I put a little avocado oil in my pan, and the pan is still nice and hot. And I am cooking some eggs, just scrambling those up and breaking them up, and then I'll add these to the bowl with the cooked chicken. Eggs on top of stuck-on chicken bits become a little bit of a mess. So I'm just going to put some water in here, and this will all scrape off really easily. I can pour this off in the sink and start fresh. So I'll add a little bit more avocado oil, and to this I'll add some chopped up onion, just a little bit. I had some in the freezer, so I was able to just pull it out of there and put it right into the pan. I would have added garlic at this point as well, but I thought I was out, and just today I did find some garlic scapes in my freezer from last year, so I need to get on top of using those, because soon we'll have scapes coming in from the garden, from this year's garden. So now I can put in my very al dente soaked rice noodles, and I'll just set those right on top of the onions and then work them all together. We used to always make pad thai with shrimp, and lately we've been doing chicken because it's kind of nicer to have leftovers be chicken rather than shrimp. It reheats a little better. So that's been a nice change, but really you could use any kind of meat or no meat and pad thai would be delicious. So now I'm adding the stir frying sauce, the pad thai sauce, which is some tamarind paste, some fish sauce, and some coconut sugar. And I'm going to get that into the pan in several batches, working the noodles around until it's mostly cooked away and absorbed into the noodles. I'm just going to test one of these noodles, and if it's not done yet, I can just add some more water and keep cooking it until it is to the texture I want. But it was good, so I'm adding some chopped up roasted peanuts and some scallion greens, which I got those out of my garden too. It's so fun to be in garden season and being able to go out. My refrigerator is kind of empty because it's in the garden now, and I love that. And now I'm squeezing a half a lime over for that nice acid brightness. And this is our first chicken dinner. With the legs from that chicken, we're doing another Asian inspired dinner. So this is a cashew chicken and broccoli, and I'm gonna do it in a Dutch oven on my stovetop. It's pretty easy. It's pretty hands-off. The chicken will get seared for a nice crispy skin, and then it will just cook until it is falling off the bone in this sauce. So to the measuring cup, we have coconut aminos, ketchup, coconut sugar, and I will grate some ginger right into that. I keep the ginger in my freezer and I take it out and grate it while it's frozen. It works really well. I do wash it really well and get it into the size pieces that I would use for one meal. Other than that, I leave the skin on and it grates up just as well as the inside. These chicken pieces have already been salted, as you saw me do when I was breaking the chicken down. If they hadn't been, I would do that right now. And I'm also adding some arrowroot powder that will help give them a nice crust, but will also dissolve into the sauce and thicken it. So first I'm going to get those kind of coated in the arrowroot and then sear them really well in my Dutch oven here. They will go in skin side down first, and the way to know if they're ready to flip is that they will release from the pan. So if you go to try and flip them and they're very stuck, let them keep going. Unfortunately, you will not see the final end product of this dinner. You'll have to make it yourself to see it all the way to the end. But what I'm going to do is finish cooking that chicken, which you will see that get all the way prepared, and it will cook on the stovetop for an hour or two, just until it is falling off the bone. And then at the end, I'll toss the broccoli in on top of the chicken and cover it back up and just let it finish cooking while the broccoli cooks. The cashews can go in at that time as well, unless you like your cashews quite soft, then you can add them in when the chicken is ready to have its lid put on. But I do it all kind of with the broccoli. And that's it. We served it over rice, and it's a delicious, pretty easy dinner. I want to deglaze this pan before I add my sauce. And I didn't have any stock. I knew that. I didn't have a jar opened, and I didn't want to open one just for this little bit. So I'm using some water. I did realize I had some white wine in the refrigerator that was open that would have been perfect for this, but the water worked fine as well. And then I can scrape all those little chicken bits, which will be really nice flavor in our sauce. And then I'll add the sauce, I'll add the chicken back in, and move this to my simmer burner with the lid on, and that can just cook on the lowest flame until it's done. Thank you for watching. I will put some links down in the description box for these recipes, and I'll see you next time.